This girl is so cringe. He's been clocking in for like 2 months. Oh my God. Fake laugh every day. Murders happen. You are so funny. You are stupid for that. Sorry, stupid for that. Your life seems pretty sad. Oh my God. Go outside. Go outside. No self-awareness. Oh my God. Oh, I'm a dip, but the time I spent here was interesting. He's like mad that he likes this stream. He's like mad. He's like, you whore. I bet you're tricking me some way that I don't know, some void way. Urgh. His name is in distress. Yeah, that's true. That's true, but still. God, he clearly is in distress. I know, but isn't it sad? All right.
My favorite part of any TV show or movie is when our guy just destroys some dipshit with the verbal ass whooping of a lifetime.
You dropped 150 grand on a fucking education you could have got for $1.50 in late charges at the public library.
But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence.
I'm interested in selling my youngest daughter into slavery as sanctioned in Exodus 21:7. In this building, when the president stands, nobody sits.
Devastating. And sometimes the damage extends beyond the screen. Paul Giamatti talked about Merlot in the 2004 wine thriller Sideways.
And if they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any fucking Merlot!
And it seems to have contributed to an actual decline in Merlot sales. So when I saw a viral TikTok clip—
Wasn't it like after Sex and the City featured, was it martinis or something? I don't even remember what it was, but like suddenly everyone was buying them at bars.
Clip from the new show Landman featuring a crotchety Billy Bob Thornton spewing
TLDR, yeah, the world impacts media and media impacts the world. And this is a concept that like people who lean right, just like their brains cannot understand them. Their brains, it's too difficult of a concept.
of weird lies about wind turbines. You know, it really bummed me out.
You want to guess how much oil it takes to lubricate that fucking thing? And its 20-year lifespan, it won't offset the carbon footprint of making it. And don't get me started on solar panels and the lithium in your Tesla battery.
And I'm not saying that TV needs to fact police their characters, but I am worried that the millions of people who saw the out-of-context clip might assume that the incorrect statements of a fictional television character are actually very smart and need to be spread far and wide. And luckily, spending a month of my life getting to the bottom of this is fun and interesting to me for some reason. Hi, I'm Raleigh Williams, a guy with a climate science and policy degree and exactly 0 memorized Bible verses. And this is an episode about how disinformation gets around the internet. Welcome to Climate Town. The show Landman was co-created by Taylor Sheridan, aka the guy who made Yellowstone and its various prequels and spin-offs. If you don't know about those, ask your parents. They've seen every episode.
That land isn't mine. You see that fence? That's mine. That fence is mine. This field's mine. That fucking fence down there, that's mine too. Spinning some bitch.
But we're not here to talk stone. Landman stars Billy Bob as an oil company guy who makes sure that they have land to drill on and that no one messes with their shit. In a scene that has since gone multi-platinum viral online, Billy Bob dunks on a city-slickin' lady lawyer who's been bamboozled by big green tech into believing that renewable energy is somehow good.
They use clean energy to power the oil wells.
They use alternative energy. There's nothing clean about this.
Please, Mr. Oilman, tell me how the wind is bad for the environment.
Do you have any idea how much diesel they have to burn to mix that much concrete? Or make that steel and haul this shit out here and put it together with a 450-foot crane? And its 20-year lifespan, it won't offset the carbon footprint of making it.
And watching that back, you may have caught yourself thinking, oh shit, I actually don't know how much diesel they had to burn to mix that much concrete. I must be a fucking idiot. But here's the thing, you don't have to know. Because a bunch of very smart people have already figured it out, and it's called a life cycle assessment. And the whole point is to account for the actual emissions over the lifetime of a wind turbine or solar panel when you factor in all the installation and maintenance, and they look like this. And if they look like this.
Manufacturing, transport, installation, maintenance, and the end of life have been considered for both models. Each part of the wind plant is assessed over the entire life cycle from cradle to grave.
And if we look real close at this one, not only does a wind turbine offset the carbon footprint of making and installing and eventually disposing of it, but it will offset that carbon footprint in an average of 5.3 months. And study after study comes to a similar conclusion. It takes a few months to a couple of years to offset the lifetime carbon footprint, depending on a lot of factors, including the ones that he's so concerned about in the Landman speech. Wind turbines spend the vast majority of their lives producing fully carbon-free energy. So that 20 years thing seems kinda super wrong. But don't worry, there's more.
We have a 120-year petroleum-based infrastructure. Our whole lives depend on it. And hell, it's in everything. That road we came in on, the wheels on every car ever made, including yours. It's in tennis rackets and lipstick and refrigerators and antihistamines, pretty much anything plastic. Your cell phone case, artificial heart valves, soap, hand lotion, garbage bags, fishing boats, you name it. Every f***ing thing.
Now, a lot of that is just true. Oil and gas are in every f***ing thing. We started out lighting it on fire for energy, but over the past century, we figured out how to weave it into every part of our lives, and especially anything involving plastic, which is almost entirely made from oil and gas. And this is a really common argument for why you should shut up and let oil companies do whatever they want. I mean, your socks are made of plastic, and we do use a ton of oil, and we are running out of it. But let's just think about that argument for one extra second. If oil and gas are such incredible tools for manufacturing, and it'll be really hard to find their replacement, then shouldn't we conserve those things? Shouldn't we stop trying to cram oil and gas into socks and water bottles and build millions of solar panels and wind turbines so we can stretch our finite and dwindling fossil fuel resources as far as they can go?
Answer now in your notebook. No, because that's what the woke DEI want us to do. All right? Okay. Thank you for the link, Bishojo. We'll talk about this later.
But instead of doing that, America is now extracting more oil and gas than any other country on Earth ever. Forget Saudi Arabia, forget Russia. America is right now the first team all-conference #1 Friday Night Lights touchdown, full eyes, clear heart, can't lose of oil and gas.
Boys, my heart is full. My heart's full.
And not to get too into the weeds here, but oil in the US, and specifically Texas, is getting harder to extract every year. Landman is set in what's known as the Permian Basin. We've been drilling for oil there for 100 years, and for the first 80 years, it was just sitting in big, accessible pools right below the surface, waiting to blast out the moment a Beverly Hillbilly tripped over it. But that stuff is basically all gone, and for the past couple of decades, the main way to get that good old French Kevin is by fracking, aka blasting the shit out of the shale rock, pumping it full of sludge, and sucking up tiny droplets of trapped oil and gas. Not only is fracking more labor intensive and costly, but it also requires exponentially more drilling and infrastructure since fracking wells deplete much faster. And on top of that, we've already fracked the juiciest, oiliest parts of the Permian, so we're getting less bang for our buck as the years go on. But instead of conserving our fossil fuels, or God forbid regulating them, we are sucking them out of the ground and putting them into every thing we can think of, because the free market is always right. Technically, in this case, the free market was subsidized by the federal government, which essentially meant they gave taxpayer money to private companies to develop fracking technology, but who's counting?
Suddenly America's like the biggest oil producer and the biggest that was me, people. I just want you to
And what the hell, we're already here. Let's do one more.
If the whole world decided to go electric tomorrow, we don't have the transmission lines to get the electricity to the cities. It'd take 30 years if we started tomorrow.
Then maybe we
definitely
should.
Do need major electric grid updates in the US and the world. In the
Something is going to take 30 years. I guess we just won't do it.
We have an insanely piecemeal patchwork of transmission lines built by thousands of independent utilities who are mostly focused on local service without really thinking about how the whole country fits together. But if Billy Bob is worried about new construction, he is in the wrong business, because oil and gas requires an incredible amount of infrastructure. I guess Billy Bob's character just draws the line at infrastructure that doesn't involve oil and gas? Whatever the case, it's inconsistent. And also, we don't need to start working on this tomorrow. We're already working on it. The world already spends around $500 billion per year on electric grid and storage, and there are lots of viable options for upgrading the grid and transitioning to clean energy in the next 10 to 15 years. A task, I will add, that would be much easier if fossil fuel companies would stop actively blocking progress on renewable energy and grid updates. But you don't have to take my word for it. Take it away, hidden camera footage of ExxonMobil lobbyist Keith McCoy.
Did we aggressively fight against some of the science? Yes. Did we join some of these shadow groups to work against some of the early efforts? Yes, that's true. But there's nothing illegal about that. You know, we were looking out for our investments. We were looking out for our shareholders.
And speaking of Exxon, there was one last little throwaway line that we should take a look at.
Who owns them?
Oil companies. We're using the power of the wells. And believe me, if Exxon thought them f***ing things right there were the future, they'd be putting them all over the goddamn place.
Okay, what the f*** is this argument? If wind turbines worked, where are all the wind turbines? You're surrounded by wind turbines. That's why you're talking about them. There's 15,000 wind turbines in Texas. Lawyer lady saw a bunch of wind turbines and asked you about them, and you said, oh yeah, the oil companies own them. What are you talking about?
Oh my God, we made eye contact. Yeah, I just came here. Why is Blood yelling? He just gets very passionate about the oil industry, man. It's his hyperfixation, bro. Stop being ableist.
Okay, number one, a ton of oil companies are putting them up all over the goddamn place, like BP and Shell and Total. I think they only name-checked Exxon because they're the most recognizable oil company that isn't diving in on renewables. And number two, Exxon's an oil company. That's what they're good at. I mean, they've tried other stuff to see if they can expand their horizons. Profits. But their bread and butter is oil. And now I'm hungry. Fuck it, think about it this way. Spaghetti is a fantastic food item, but no matter how many times I try to order it from McDonald's, they refuse to serve it to me.
What's the name of this video? How oil propaganda sneaks into TV shows. Here you go.
They make burgers and fries. They'll try a salad, and for about a month in 2023, they murdered about 30% of Gen Z with Grimace's purple poison. But the absence of a McSpaghetti on their menu does not mean spaghetti isn't a viable food. They just love burgers, like Exxon loves oil.
So what you're saying is we can't have spaghetti. We only can have burger. Just like we can't have green energy. We can only have oil. Got it. Okay.
I love gold.
Okay, but that clip would be perfect if you said oil. I love oil. Perfect. Whatever. The part of this that really gets my apples is that none of these arguments are new. The whole monologue reads like a now that's what I call climate denial's greatest hits album. These exact anti-renewable, pro-oil talking points have been tested and repeated for years.
Can you explain to me as a European why Americans are so obsessed with media where this hillbilly talks down to a naive city person? It seems like such a self-flatulating thing. It's very strange. It is very strange. It's that, like, I've talked about this concept before, but basically when you feel like you are a failure, you just assume that that can't be true. There's no way that you could be a total fucking loser on every front. It must be that everybody else is wrong. So it makes you feel better to know or to see things that make you look good, right? So like the average person in like fucking Alabama that has really poor access to good education, that the state has like some of the highest rates of teen pregnancy, the highest rates of morbid obesity, some of the worst dental, just like the worst dental care and the worst dental health. Your state has failed you on literally every single front. And that reality is too concerning and jarring and bizarre that they think there has to be something about them that's good. There has to be something about Southern living, rugged living. Meanwhile, all these people drive fucking Ford F-150s that are completely spotless, that they take to the fucking Walmart and then they take to their fucking Amazon job because the state doesn't have anything else. So yeah, it helps reaffirm those people into not, feeling suicidal. Because it's just, no, it's not that I'm being failed by my state in every single way and I'm worse off in every single way. It must be that I'm actually super smart. And yes, it must be that I'm super smart. And it's actually the city slickers that are wrong. We call them pavement princesses here. Imagine hating on Elon Musk and then using his services to advertise your content. LMFAO. Oh, you found my stream from Twitter? Thank you. I'll add it to the analytics. Thanks. Thank you for sharing. Not a lot of people, you know how it is hard to get people to like fill out surveys. It's rare that people will just fill them out themselves. So thank you. I appreciate it. Gives me a better idea of like the metrics.
Years, and the ones that performed the best with the general public got repeated again. This whole "you owe modern society to oil and gas" argument pops up in advertisements, nature documentaries, the Epcot Center, Facebook memes, even children's books. I literally have a children's book written by an oil and gas lobby group and distributed to public schools that uses the same oil and gas are in everything angle. And it's not a secret who's been pushing this narrative. For decades, fossil fuel
I'm here from the Siri suggestion on my lock screen. Let's go, Siri. Let's go. Hadi Hassan, which I think is cool. Oh, welcome, welcome. Mustangs are so cringe. I feel like just like, it's one of those things that you don't advertise, right? Like, I think everybody has something that's kind of gross that they do. Like, I will be honest. I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. And you should not do this. I'm telling you not to do this. But sometimes I drop food on the floor and I pick it up and I eat it. 5-second rule, okay? I'm sorry, that cookie is still good, okay? I don't wear shoes inside my house, okay? I'm a civilized person. I know that doesn't make the food clean. Don't listen, okay? I know that doesn't make the food clean, but like, I haven't gotten sick yet. I haven't gotten sick yet. And to be very clear, I would never give somebody else food that was dropped on the ground. That's fucking disgusting, okay? You have to consent for that. All right. And it has happened on multiple occasions that I've cooked and then I dropped shit. And I'm like, no, I have to start all over. But if I have my own food, you know, I draw the line at like spaghetti. I'm not going to fucking start picking the spaghetti up. That's disgusting. Mythbusters tested this 20 years ago. It's more like the 5-minute rule for dry food on a dry floor. You sound like you'd be a bad packer. Do you put your suitcase on your bed or pack it on the floor? I pack it on the floor. Like a sane person would. That's disgusting. Your suitcase has seen so many things. I'm not putting it on my bed. Ew. Ew. That's gross. Moving on. So you shouldn't advertise this. And I only did it as an example to show you the gross things that you shouldn't advertise. Okay. And I trust you guys not to tell anyone else. Right? I feel like that's being an Elon Musk stan in 2025. Like, even if you feel that way, you shouldn't say it out loud. You shouldn't. Okay. Like, I get it. Back in 2015, before he started tweeting every single thought that came to his brain, and it was exposed to all of us that he was a total scammer. Every company he's ever been involved in, he never did any of the actual legwork. He just kind of joined in at a time when the company was already pretty successful, maybe made a couple of business decisions with his business degree, not science degree, and then left. And then sometimes did not leave of his own accord, okay? You shouldn't advertise it, man. I'm sorry. The Hyperloop, the video of the Hyperloop is sad, guys. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Have you guys seen the recent video footage of the Hyperloop? Like, ones if you've seen what I'm talking about, twos if you haven't. Oh my God, no. Some of you haven't seen recent footage. Oh God. Why is YouTube just cluttered with like CGI instead of just showing the actual Hyperloop? Is it this one? This one's from a year ago. Maybe
this is the Vegas.
Ow. No, it's not this one. This one? This one maybe?
I jumped in at the central station, right?
No. Oh man, I wish I saved it. I didn't save it. Fuck. If somebody else has a link for it, I would appreciate it. But like, they drive through the Vegas Hyperloop and then they have to wait at a fucking intersection inside of the Hyperloop. It's really sad. No, it was on Twitter, which is the reason why I can't find it right now. No, it's not this one. I can't find it, but whatever. It's really sad. There was an intersection inside of it. Why is there an intersection? I don't know. I don't know why there was one. No, it's not this Adam something video from 2 years ago. No. This is talking about like, it's the fact that the idea is stupid. Okay, I'll look one more time. I'll look a little bit harder. I'll look maybe this one?
This is so cool. Damn, Elon got it going on. Oh, I gotta put on my seatbelt, right? Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. This reminds me of the Flintstones. You know, you ever watch the Flintstones when you were a kid?
Yes. Without the pedals, our foot, right?
Right.
We're not using our feet to let this car go, but it's a pretty cool concept. It's like Space Mountain.
Yeah. Really cool. I love it. How long does the ride take?
Sorry, really quickly, I need to address the Elon Musk simp. I need you to know something, man. You Dems are just empty in the skull, aren't ya? LOL. LMAO, what was Kamala's qualifications? I'm not even going to address how stupid this is. I'm just going to talk to you directly and tell you, man, you're very mistaken if you think there are people in here that like Kamala. You've become such an ideologue, you assume that anyone who doesn't like your guy immediately has to like the other guy. But that's not what you're going to find here. We don't like Kamala Harris. No one in here likes Kamala Harris. Dare I say, we hate her. I'm sorry that you think that we can't dislike two people at the same time. You know, we're on the left. We hate cops. You know, Kamala's a cop, right? You see how that position is consistent? It's not that complicated. But I'm sure you're not going to respond to the fact that I said that. I don't know. Sorry, I know why they do this. I know why they do this. It's just, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe the level of ego where the chatters, they're NPCs. They do the same thing every time. You talk to them directly. You tell them, hey, this statement you're making is not correct because I don't like her. Nobody else in here likes her. You should address the fact that we don't give a fuck that Kamala lost. No one in here gives a fuck. We didn't like Kamala, and we didn't like Trump. We didn't like either of these candidates. Are you going to address this fact? And they all do the same thing. They just start replying to other people in chat, which is exactly, I mean, they're admitting to doing it now. I was responding to a moron in your chat. And it's the same thing every time. It's the same thing every day. Study time. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. Hi, raiders. We were talking about how the Hyperloop is cringe. It's not great. Anyways, going back to the video.
I would say 3 minutes. We're about to get the connector over here. This is our, resorts, our Westgate's our new tunnel, right?
Okay.
Right here, what we call our Westgate connector.
Sorry, really quickly, let me just say something. Say one more thing. Do you want to debate on Elon Musk working to expose the BS ? You can't even admit that you made an incorrect assumption, and you think I would have a conversation with someone who can't even admit that they made an incorrect assumption? I'm happy to concede points that are, incorrect. You aren't. That seems like not a very good use of my time, actually. That seems kind of boring, actually. Incorrect how? You call us Democrats. Because there's Democrats in here talking smack on Trump. That's where the response was. I just told you. You can dislike Trump and Kamala at the same time. You can dislike Trump and Kamala at the same time. You know that, right? Come on. He can't do it. He can't concede it. He can't do it. Do the stupid little voice again. Haha. Just concede 1 point. Just prove you're not an NPC. Just do it. Come on. Prove it. Come on. Don't embarrass yourself in front of thousands of people, man. Come on. Just say, yeah, you're not a Democrat. I admit I made an assumption. You dislike both parties. This is not that hard, man. You can do it. Wait. Do you have Dems in your chat? Yes, you do. ... Was my comment for every moron on here? No, just the Dems. LOL, how else do you want me to explain it? But your proof on the fact that they're Democrats was that they were talking smack on Trump. You don't have to be a Democrat to dislike Trump. I'll give you another. Come on, you can do it. Come on, one more chance. No, it literally said Dem in the comment.
Chat type 2 if you were a Dem.
I'm just going to say, man, why are you reading it so aggressive? LOL. I'm just going to say, man, I hope you learn how to get past your ego, okay? Everyone else in here can see that you're trying so hard to save face, and it doesn't make you look good, man. It doesn't. It doesn't make you look good. And I really hope that you can move past this really pathetic tone policing, ad homing, and just be able to accept that, oh, yeah, I was wrong. That doesn't change the facts that I'm making. You can do that, right? You can say, oh, I wrongly assumed that you guys were Dems, but that doesn't change the fact that Elon Musk, what he's doing is really epic poggers, and then just move on. Like, dying on stupid hills it's really pathetic, man. It's really pathetic. I wish you the best of luck, man. You need it. You really need it. Okay? If you find that people in your life don't take pleasure in talking to you, I'm telling you now, free therapy session, this is the reason. This is the reason. It's because you never concede anything ever, and it's insufferable to talk to you. And deep down, that you fucked up, and that's why you're sitting there lying and concocting stories, and everyone else can see it. They can see it. It's like the kid with like fucking cookie crumbs all over his face being like, I didn't eat the cookies from the cookie jar. It was a cat. I didn't do it. That's what you look like, man. And you would be more respected if you said, Yeah, I ate the cookies, but they were so tasty. The cookies were so tasty. They were really good cookies, okay? And the milk was going to expire tomorrow, so I thought it would be better if someone drank it instead of it going in the trash. I'd be like, damn, actually, it's a pretty good argument. You should eat the cookies. Actually, wait a minute. You should eat the cookies. I promise you, man. Life can be better. Life can be better. Okay, back to the video.
Companies and their many, many industry lobby groups have spent millions upon millions of dollars on disinformation campaigns and PR stunts and advertisements, even influencer marketing campaigns. There's a gaggle of articles you can read about this, but in my opinion, you should start with the Drilled podcast from Amy Westervelt. There's a link in the bio, but here's a little taste to wet your whistle.
Exxon as a company was putting ads in the newspaper that were contrary to the research that they were paying us to be doing.
So this is an experiment in shifting public opinion away from urgency.
The TLDR is that oil and gas companies decided that the best defense is a good offense. And they've spent years chumming the waters with disinformation to convince the public of everything from natural gas is clean to wind turbines are a bunch of dirty, gas-guzzling bird assassins.
They're noisy. They kill the birds. You want to see a bird graveyard? You just go. Take a look. A bird graveyard? Go under a windmill someday. You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
And it's finally
And then he pulls up, and then Climate Town pulls up a video showing that actually wind turbines are not killing fields for birds. Collisions from land-based wind turbines, 234,000. Why are there so many? Oh, this is a chart. Sorry. I thought this was a chart of like, I only read cats and then the bottom. And I was like, damn, are wind turbines killing this many cats? That's a lot of cats. How? How are they killing this many cats? It's what is killing birds. It's what's killing birds. And apparently cats kill 2.5 billion, not million, billion cats a year. Wind turbines kill 230,000. Meow, meow. Mayor cat, why? Why?
You'll see more birds than you've ever seen ever in your life.
And it's finally time to get to the bottom of how this clip got into an episode of Landman that otherwise had nothing to do with wind turbines. Because folks, I think I figured it out. And I will tell you. Because I like you, and I want you to have a satisfying ending to this video. First things first, it wasn't an oil industry executive who secretly
given us a green revolution by now. But Mayor is worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Carefully wrote this out and then slipped it into a script so that Billy Bob would pop off about renewable energy. So maybe it was Billy Bob himself. I mean, after all, his performance was a little too perfect.
It's kind of like watching Always Sunny and then siding with like Dennis. Did I say cats kill 2 billion cats? Sorry, cats kill 2 billion birds. Sorry. This is the equivalent of, again, watching Sunny and being like, clipping Dennis talking about the implication and saying, pick up artist strategy number 6,542. Trap women. Like, no.
And he is from Hot Springs, Arkansas, a mere 2-hour drive from the location of Arkansas's first major oil discovery, a little town called Stevens, Arkansas, population 770. So maybe Billy Bob just had an axe to grind for years, and he wrote that monologue himself to settle a score. I mean, after all, he did write, direct, and star in an inexplicably fantastic movie, Sling Blade, where he played an intellectually challenged man, and somehow it still holds up 30 years later. So we decided to watch some press interviews of Billy Bob for the show Landman to see what there was to see.
And by the way, this, as you can see, this is not like a preaching thing about oil is awesome. It's the ins and outs, ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the oil business. It's not politicized or anything like that.
And that's basically how every interview went. He's not trying to forward a personal agenda other than trying to pull off wool hat under fedora, but make it pirate. And if that's his personal agenda, sign me up. No, obviously I'm just kidding. He looks insane. But then we found out that Landman was actually based on a podcast called Boomtown. And Christian Wallace, the creator and host, was not only on set for a lot of the Landman filming, he's an executive producer and co-creator on the show. We found the source. But then we listened to all 11 episodes of Boomtown, and it was really good. Christian worked in the Permian as an oil roughneck himself, and he'd been a writer for Texas Monthly for a few years before launching the podcast. And like a lot of his previous work, Boomtown focuses on the less well-covered human stories woven into the oil industry. The often brutal reality of an industry that might pay well when times are good, and then disappear completely when the price of a barrel of oil drops below the desired profit margin. And a lot of that oil and gas work comes with a ridiculously high degree of danger. And some of these stories make it right into Landman. This is a spoiler, so I guess watch out, but at the end of the first episode, 3 members of the same family die in a single oil field accident, just like in the 4th episode of Boomtown. But when it comes to climate change or oil's place in the world, Christian's work on Boomtown sounds nothing like the Billy Bob speech.
There is, of course, increasing pressure to move away from fossil fuels. Renewable energy is increasingly competitive. It's possible that the world will turn its back on oil long before the last drop is sucked from the Permian. One truth that's held steady for nearly 100 years is this: in the Permian, the next bust is always around the corner.
Really, of the entire
I'm too rotted, dude. I'm goon-brained. The next bust is right around the corner.
Your monologue, there's only one line that actually sounds like it came from Boomtown, which again is a podcast mostly about the horrible choices and dangers of working anywhere near an oil field in West Texas.
Getting oil out of the ground is the most dangerous job in the world. We don't do it because we like it. We do it because we run out of options.
So if those classic corporate oil industry PR talking points didn't come from the guy who's the Permian Basin oil expert and co-creator of the show, where did they come from? To answer that, we'd have to go all the way down to the bottom.
How strange is it that we put like a monetary value on actual life itself? Wow, it's just such a strange concept.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit, Jamie, pull that video up.
That's right.
Me when I'm high, dude. Me when I'm high.
I listened to an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, specifically episode 2083, a full 3.5 hour long interview with Landman's other co-creator and only credited writer, Taylor Sheridan. And guess what I heard?
That would make sense to me why the government would keep that information from people. Because if we found out that people were essentially just a vessel of souls and that we are essentially designed to give birth to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. Like, a lot. At one point, Joe Rogan is pretty sure that Tucker Carlson has evidence for the existence of aliens, except they're not aliens, they're angels and demons who are farming human souls because these angel aliens eat AI. And I'm not fucking joking, that's really what's in this episode. My God, how is this one of America's most popular podcasts? But about 49 minutes into this episode, we gain some really interesting insight into the Landman script.
Nothing makes me crack up more than the stop oil people when they're blocking the highway with clothes made with oil. Like they have rubber.
This is one of my
It's fucking insane.
I'm making a TV show about this right now. Yeah, called Landman with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh wow!
About the oil industry and about energy.
Interesting. Well, let's not jump to any conclusions here. I mean, he was nominated for an Oscar for writing Hell or High Water. Maybe let's give...
There's this debate about climate change, which, by the way, climate's always changing. It was changing before we showed up. We're more likely to run out of oil before we find its pure replacement. I mean, look, let's look at all the shit on your table made out of oil. The headphones, the soles of my shoes.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, the socks I'm wearing, everything.
And there it is right there. It's the Billy Bob monologue, but worse. It seems like Taylor Sheridan has heard oil lobby talking points, remembered them, and then wrote his own version for Landman. But as we listen to these guys talk for another 2 hours, we get to something even more telling.
But people don't understand... they're mandating all these electric vehicles in California. 75% of California's electricity comes from fossil fuels. About 15% comes from wind and alternative energy. And then they still get a little from nuclear.
This one is wild to me.
Wait, so let's just pretend like that's true for a second, right? We have to recognize that we're talking about where the emissions are taking place at the very least, right? Like, let's just pretend like all of the which I don't even think that that's accurate. Let's just pretend for a second that all of the electricity is from fossil fuel, which isn't even correct. Pollution, local pollution, makes a difference in your well-being and health. Obviously, it matters to change our energy to renewable for the general climate and for climate change in general. But smog is a thing. Do you guys remember in like the early 2000s when buses and cars, they would literally leave like plumes of smoke as they passed you? I like the world where we have cars that pass you, and usually, unless it's like a really old car, that doesn't happen. Also, cars are horribly inefficient. 60% of the energy ends up being wasted as heat. You remember the scene from Fern Gully? Guys, I am culturally an internet dweller, okay? Not an American. I have not seen Fern Gully. In Sacramento, our sky is visibly clearer of smog than when I was growing up. Let me look up Fern Gully. I've heard of it many, many times. Oh, it's an animated movie. I haven't seen this. No. I don't know how I haven't seen this, actually. I love animated movies. I guess it's just kind of old, maybe. 1992. Okay, I will watch this movie. I promise. I will make it happen. Anyways, moving on. That non-Disney climate movie that did middlingly well at the box office, yeah. TLDR, there is a big difference between using electric cars or even like in LA where gas is hyper-regulated and cars are hyper-regulated, so you're not allowed to drive a car, or you're not supposed to legally drive a car that just exhales fumes that get in your fucking lungs and eyes. I would rather have a bunch of electric vehicles on the car because at least I can walk around and not have to fucking breathe in smog. And at least maybe, I don't know, the smog factories can be, where most of the people aren't, and everyone can have better health outcomes overall. Like, again, these are just like, this feels like baby brain shit. You also get way better efficiency generating power at power plants. So even if that power is generated with coal or oil where you live, it's still better to drive electric than ice. I live in a state where smokestacks on trucks are common and I fucking hate them. Yeah. No, girl, we need to kill people. Oh shit, you're right. Fuck. Okay, wait. Yes. We need to kill these damn liberals who are trying to get rid of the smog cities. Which video is on screen? It's called How Oil Propaganda Sneaks into TV Shows from Climate Town, ! Watching. Internal combustion engine. Oh, right. So, yeah, you just haven't smoked that good dank smog. Yeah. It's just so, I don't even understand how anyone falls for this stuff. It's like it's such pathetic bait. And people watch it and they're like, debunk this, liberal. It's like, why did you say that like you were doing something? I don't understand.
He's not even close on those numbers. He's doing a Good Will Hunting style monologue, but he doesn't know any of the actual stats. I mean, he's a good writer and his instincts tell him he needs to say some numbers there, so he just kind of makes them up. And he's way off. According to the actual numbers from the California Energy Commission, renewable and no carbon energy in 2023 clocked in at 58%, with fossil fuels coming in at 42%.
Whoa, that's really impressive. I mean, a lot of California is like just desert. There's a lot of desert in California. So there's a lot of like reasonable locations to just solar panel that bitch up. So this isn't even surprising. And then this goes back to the double wrong thing. So one, you're wrong. The stats you're providing that only 15% of the energy is from green energy is wrong. And then you're double wrong because even if you were right, which you're not, it's still more efficient to have power plants and have almost as much as we can run on electric. And it's better in terms of just health quality because you don't want to have to walk down the street and have smog in your face all the time. It's so crazy to me that people watch and fall for this shit.
Which is right around half of what Taylor Sheridan said. Weirdly, he gave wind power too much credit in California and then forgot about solar generation. And I mean, if I had to speculate, I might guess that because Taylor lives in Texas, where they do get a big chunk of their electricity from wind, he assumed maybe it'd be similar in California, so he riffed some numbers that would support the thing he wanted to say. Which again,
solar is stealing from the sun. That's God's energy, not ours. That's why God left oil reserves in the ground, because he wanted us to work for it. USA.
Was wrong. But it sounded pretty good. I actually have a podcast called The Climate Denier's Playbook, where I look at old climate denial talking points with my co-host Nicole Conlon, and Joe Rogan and Taylor Sheridan hit like 75% of the talking points.
Every one of their predictions has always been wrong. I mean, if you go back to Al Gore's Inconvenient
Kilimanjaro
Truth,
supposed to no snow by 2006 or something.
All
like that.
bullshit. all wrong.
Let's just say we took a corner of Utah and we just solar paneled that f***er. Guess what we can't do? Get it anywhere. We talk about things that warm the planet.
Yeah, that did a lot of warming for sure.
I've never heard, no one's mentioned the 1,000 nuclear bombs we set off.
And for the record, I don't think these two dudes are taking bribes from the oil industry. I just think that they are repeating stuff that they've heard without actually checking to see if it's true. They're basically sharing a Facebook meme, except they have massive audiences, a dozen television shows, and access to Billy Bob Thornton. And they're doing it in a deeply unself-aware way.
Because I can't stand to pay money and have somebody preach to me their ideas.
We're in a weird time where everybody has a say, and I don't think everybody should be able to talk. It's like, I mean, everybody should be able to talk, but through social media, that gets just broadcast en masse to the world. And you get these groups of people that they huddle up in these fucking echo chambers and they duke it out.
I just read something in the last day or two that, and I'm going to get it wrong, but 1937 is closer to 1984 than 2023 is to 84.
He did get it wrong, but not because he's being paid off by big number, because it's a thing he heard one time and it sounded right to him, so he repeated it. And I get it. We all want to be Goodwill Hunting, but if you're trying so hard to own the libs that you're making shit up to reinforce some propaganda you heard, you're not Goodwill Hunting, you're the ponytail guy. And while I can't say for sure,
Rogan is really tapped into his fan base. I mean, Rogan is just like, he just believes he's literally the epitome of a guy who believes the last thing someone told him. If someone who he even remotely respects tells him something, he just is like,
Sometimes
okay.
I get sad, but if stream's on, I'm glad.
Glad.
DNM balls.
Like, he'll have on, like, climate change scientists, and they'll say something, and then he'll be like, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I believe this now. And then he has, like, a climate denier on that's like, actually, this and this. And he's like, that makes sense. I believe this now. That's it. That's the entire show. That's the entire podcast.
Where Sheridan heard all this stuff the first time, it seems
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Yeah, wow. Did you see that ex-actor name was trying to become a kangaroo? Yeah, pull up the video. It's just like insane. Wow. All right, back to what we're watching. Jamie, pull that up.
That we can eventually trace it all back to the fossil fuel companies who have been spending millions of dollars to spread these messages as far and wide as they could. And frankly, it was a great plan. Oil executives in the 80s didn't have to kidnap a young Taylor Sheridan and force-feed him lies about wind turbines so he would grow up to write a snappy monologue to poison the well against renewable energy. They just made a big vision board so they could capture as many minds as they possibly could, and one of the minds happened to be this guy. So what are we gonna do about it? Well, the first step is to get more informed about climate disinformation. Incredible journalists have built careers investigating and breaking stories and writing about disinformation, and you should read their work and follow them on social media and support them whenever possible. We put a list of some of our favorites in the description. Seriously check them out. The sad fact is that there's a lot of bullshit out there, and it's not obvious that whatever you're reading or listening to or watching is accurate. It isn't obvious how long a wind turbine takes to work off its carbon debt, or what California's electrical grid mix is. If I hadn't just done a video about natural gas, I might never have realized that Sheridan's very confident rant was actually a sort of fossil fuel fan fiction. I mean, look at this chart. Looks legit, it's all bullshit. I just made up a bunch of numbers, it's that easy.
Correlation between Climate Town episodes and world peace. Peace on Earth. Pieces over Earth.
And judging by recent events, the level of bullshit is going to increase. In the proud tradition of a billionaire with a social media network, Mark Zuckerberg released a video about how Facebook will be rolling back fact-checking. So arming yourself with a better understanding of how to spot propaganda is a really good idea. Oh, did I just spend a bunch of time pushing a narrative that learning about climate disinformation was good and then come to a self-serving conclusion? You bet your apples I did. I learned it from the best. Whoa, location change. That's right, I'm in sunny San Francisco for something completely unrelated to this episode, but I figured this would be a good place to tell you about Climate Town hats. But not just any old hats. We're not gonna get got by Billy Bob on this one. These hats contain no plastic, We've wanted to make hats
No
for a
plastic?
while, but it turns out that basically any hat that looks like this contains a ton of plastic.
Every f***ing thing.
But then our partners over at Ethics Merch found a company called Rustec. Rustec was started by two brothers, Clayton and Miles. They have no regard for their own.
No shade, no hate or anything. But those are exactly the type of names from two white guys trying to make a hat company that doesn't use plastic. No
personal
shame,
safety.
no
Like
hate.
a lot of outdoorsy folks, they care about the planet, specifically the snow parts.
Exactly
But
what I was
unfortunately,
expecting.
Outdoor gear and apparel is basically all plastic, like this or this. So they set out to make outdoor stuff from natural materials, like wood and cork and cotton and hemp. And that led them to make this hat. But then they realized that even though they'd worked so hard to promote natural materials, the hat was still mostly plastic. So they went back to the drawing board and they created a design that is 100% natural materials, and here it is. They replaced the normally plastic brim with a thin layer of bamboo covered in cork, and they worked with a factory in Canada to replace everything plastic and crank out hats. Now at this point you might be wondering, are the hats actually any good though? Yes. Yes they are. Now honestly, we were a little nervous that it would feel too different from a normal plastic hat. But then we spent the past 4 months wearing the shit out of them, sweating into them, washing them, waving them around, and throwing them on the ground and stomping on them like an angry Little League baseball coach. And we can confidently say, we like these hats so much, we decided to make our own. So here we are in this truly beautiful place, introducing the first ever Climate Town hat. And they look like this. Nice. The art was actually really easy to make because we didn't do it. We worked with this incredible artist named Jeff Lopalato from Planet People Studio, who created this slick design that combines the official Climate Town eagle with hat. Very nice and not at all plastic. And I know almost every other fucking thing in the world still has plastic in it, but we just wanted to look into some alternatives. And one of those alternatives is brought to you by the good folks over at Rustec. God bless those out of control, all natural lunatics. So if that sounds like something that you would like to put on your head or the head of a loved one, by all means, get yourself an official Climate Town hat. Link in the bio, pitch over. And that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. As always, that
was a good episode. That was good. Please go subscribe. Ethical Reacts, yes. Sorry, when it comes to like new videos that just came out on a channel, which this came out literally 23 hours ago, it's not even a full day yet. I think they should plug their shit, all right? I think it's only fair. So yeah, please go subscribe if you're interested in getting a hat. If you want a hat, yeah, go grab a hat. That was a good video. That was a pretty good video. Yeah, that was pretty good. I will happily watch a Climate Town ad. Yeah, I'll watch a Climate Town ad. Why not? Why not? After all, why shouldn't we? I will say, in the midst of like everything that's happening, it feels like there are a few bastions left that actually are properly calling out all the garbage that exists today in our current America. And that's More Perfect Union. And I wanted to watch this video from them from early September, about tech billionaires, shocking plot for rural America. And also just in general, even their Twitter page, like, breaking, House Republicans have released their budget resolution. They're aiming to cut Medicaid by at least $880 billion and cut SNAP by at least 20%. The insane part about like cutting SNAP by 20%, is that if you've spoken to anyone who's been on SNAP, SNAP is food stamps for non-Americans. It's not that much money. Most of the people who get food stamps, they're getting maybe $200 a month, maybe. Which, like, if you're really good about grocery shopping, you can stretch that, but they're not. It's not that much. It's not like people are like milking this system. And you only get SNAP if you make under, what, $20,000 a year or something? It's like an insanely low requirement. It's not a lot at all. My mom was getting $130 a month. That's insane. SNAP recipient here, it's $280 a month. Currently, I stretch it by buying mostly vegetables and rice. It isn't my neighbors on food stamps aren't getting enough calories. Yeah, like it's not that much. I'm on SNAP $250 a month. So like I also work in a food stamps office. If you have questions, I live in Arizona. I mean, I think my understanding of the system is pretty okay, but I do know that you have to make very little to even qualify for it. They just cut mine to $100. Nice. Second, what you can afford is very, very little. What is qualified, and this is why the argument about hot food being allowed in SNAP was always such a fucking stupid argument. Like I don't know if you guys saw this pseudo debate on the internet a few years back or like a year ago, but people were basically arguing that you shouldn't be able to use food stamps at like to get hot food. But it's so stupid because when you do use food stamps to get hot food, you're basically saying, I'm going to pay a little bit more just this once, even though it's a bad financial decision because I want to just not cook for myself once. Hot as in spicy? No, like hot as in warm. You can't get pre-prepared food in certain states. You can only get food that hasn't already been put together or food that's like cold, basically. But it's so dumb, again, because you should, I don't know, I think poor people should be allowed to get fast food once in a while, to get hot food once in a while and not have to cook every single day or eat frozen food every single day. It's just punishment for the sake of punishment. Yeah. On Snap, the method we did was you could buy food cold and hand it back to them to toss in the microwave. Yeah. Land of the free, but not for poor people. Again, it's state dependent because I know in like LA, I've seen signs in a lot of like restaurants and fast food places that say like, SNAP is okay or like SNAP welcome. So I believe that it is state dependent, but there are a lot of states where it's not. And I don't know, like, is it so wrong that I think that states shouldn't force poor people to have to cook all of their food? Is that really so wrong? What? Especially if you live on the streets, because how are you going to cook it? You can have camping or something, but most people can't do that. Poor people deserve nice meals too. When you're working 3 jobs, it's such a blessing to not have to be standing there and cooking. Yeah. I was getting $30 a month for SNAP before I just stopped caring to recertify. Warm food's a luxury and it should be means-tested. It's just like disgusting. And like the worst part about it is there's a lot of like children that rely on SNAP. Like there are a lot of children that grow up poor that rely on their parents getting food stamps. And we know that like good nutrition is crucial. It's literally one of the most important things for child development. Basic good nutrition that like a child is getting enough calories in a day and is getting enough that is getting every micronutrient that they need. Because you like brain development is stunted when you have low food quality or aren't eating enough, just period. So it's insane to like, this is one of those things that should just like never be cut ever because the ramifications of it being cut are so bad. Because I'm sorry, but what's going to happen is if you're poor and you work a full-time job and you have to take care of kids, which is on its own a full-time job, you're not going to be able to have the energy to cook every single day and make sure kids are getting every nutrient that they need. Which means a lot of times parents end up buying less nutritious things because they just don't have the energy to cook meals every day. Who suffers? Kids suffer. But it's this meme. It's this meme again. Stop immigration so we can take care of our own. I'm starving. Fuck off. It's this. It's like the same thing as like the Dan Carlin, I don't know why I always say Dan Carlin, George Carlin joke about abortion. If you're a fetus, they care a lot about you. If you are a child, they don't care about you at all. Pre-birth, you're great. Post-birth, you're fucked. And again, the craziest thing about this is most of this stuff isn't even getting enough funding to begin with. It's not even getting enough to begin with. Like, I'm sorry, but SNAP, it's not even enough money for most of the people who have it. You should be able to go to the grocery store and buy almost anything you want. Obviously, you don't fucking reach for like the caviar or whatever. I understand. But like, you shouldn't have to go to the grocery store and sit there like coupon clipping and making sure that you're buying the cheapest things and making sure that you're like working on a budget as you're currently struggling with poverty. You should be able to go to the grocery store, pick up everything that you think you're going to need and not have to worry about having enough money for the food. I was making $15 an hour and I have a child and I was told I would make too much for SNAP. I literally had to go to food banks to get food for me and my kid. Good society. And you know what? If a couple of rich people steal some food SNAP money, you know what? I'm willing to pay that cost. First of all, they're not going to. Let's just be real. But I'm willing to pay that cost if it means that kids and poor people and homeless people get to eat food and not have to worry about whether or not they're going to get another meal. Like, it's just insane. And that's just one of these things. That's not even talking about Medicaid. Me on my way to testify to the Arizona House for the removal of addictive substances like soda and candy from SNAP-eligible items. You are a demon, lady. You are a fucking demon. Like, you're actually a fucking demon. Like, how dare a poor person want to get candy once in a while? Sorry, the poors only get to have rice and beans and some greens. That's it. It's just very infantilizing. It's crazy. It's just insane. Like realistically, people who, and it's also like it shows a crucial misunderstanding of people who are on food stamps. The people who are on food stamps are already mostly buying things in bulk that are healthy. Like a bag of rice, it goes a long way. It's like you can buy a pretty big bag of rice for like $20 and it'll last you for a couple months. People are already buying those options because they are the most cost efficient to begin with. It's not like poor people go to the grocery store and then they buy like 5 bags of Oreos. Bags, boxes, I don't know what you would call them. It's just not what's happening. It's like I don't understand. I don't understand how you could live in this world and like think this. Fucking let somebody who has nothing get a Snickers bar. I buy more Oreos in the pallet. Packs of Oreos. Yeah, it's just ghoulish shit, dude. It's just fucking ghoulish shit.